it doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the things that I have to do. In today's video, I want to talk about a few lessons learned about having a full-time job and a part-time business. As you know, if you have been watching my videos, then you know I have a content agency and I also have my full-time job. Listening to a lot of entrepreneurs, it can be a little confusing at times. It can be a little bit much because you're like, okay, well, they're talking about waking up at 3 in the morning. They're talking about waking up at 5, do a cold shower, do X amount of calls, do this, do that. And you're like, how am I going to do that if I have a full-time job? Now, for me, one of the things that I've learned is not listen to everyone, because a lot of people, again, they have their own lives, they have their own struggles, they have their own paths, and they have their strengths and weaknesses. And I'm not going to align with everybody. And that is something that I have learned, because it can be overwhelming sometimes when you're trying to do too much and you end up not doing the stuff that you're supposed to do because you're trying to do too much. I don't know if that makes sense, but it makes sense to me. So the first lesson that I have learned is to not overcommit. Like, for example, for me, overcommitting would be I'm gonna post 3 times a day on my social media to grow my digital marketing business, because that's what they're telling me that I have to do, and that's what I'm gonna do. It doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for the things that I have to do. It doesn't work for me because I have a full-time job, I have a marketing agency, and I'm trying to grow my digital marketing business. And sometimes, instead of posting 3 times a day, I can commit to posting 1 time a day. And that's realistic. That's realistic for me. And I'm not gonna feel like I'm not making any improvement. I'm not gonna feel like I'm not moving towards to what I wanna do because XYZ said that I need to post 3 times a day. Overcommitting for me personally doesn't work, because I just end up feeling like I didn't achieve what I was gonna do because I didn't do the things that I said I was gonna do, and it just ends up not working out for me. So being realistic and setting realistic goals, for me, that works for me, even though they're not as high as I want them to be, and even though they're not as are gonna take me as fast as soon as possible to where I want to go. Actually staying consistent and doing what I have to do makes more sense. For example, I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna post 3 YouTube videos a week. That's what I'm gonna do because I'm gonna grow. I want to grow fast. And guess what, that's not realistic because I don't have the time. And even if I do have the time, like, I still have responsibilities that I need to do. My job is very demanding, and sometimes I have to do things for my job that I need to do. The same thing for my marketing agency. And those are the things that you have to balance. Like, okay, realistically, how many videos can I put out a week? Can I do 1? Can I do 2? And I came down to the conclusion that I can do 2 videos. I can do 2 videos a week, stay consistent, put out good content that's gonna make me, that's gonna take me closer to what I want to do. It's paying off. It's paying off right now. I got a couple subscribers. Views are growing up again. My channel, I wasn't consistent posting because I guess I was trying to do too much and it didn't work. I guess staying consistent, putting 2 videos a week, I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that. Eventually, once things keep going, then the goal will be like, okay, how many videos can I put out? Am I making money from YouTube? If I am making money, can I hire an editor? Can I outsource some of this work? And then maybe I can put out more content. I can put more quality content. So I'm looking at things from that perspective. Something else that I have learned is focus on the small wins, and sometimes even look for the wins. Like, you have heard that before. Like, you have heard other people talk about count your wins, count your wins. How many things are you doing? Count your wins. Like, do you consider that a win? Those are some of the things that I have learned that are beneficial for me, and to stay motivated for my part-time business and my full-time job is just counting those small wins. How does a small win or a win in general look in your business? For example, for me, a win in my business is, okay, did I put out a piece of content for YouTube? Did? Okay, check that off. That's a win. That's a win for this week. Do I have a content idea? Do I have an idea for a video that I really want to create? Boom, that's a win. Did I pull out the camera and recorded what I said I was going to do? Boom, that's a win. Did I stick to my schedule for the recording schedule? I did. Boom, that's another win. And those are things like, sometimes we consider, or at least for myself, like, a win has to be this big old thing. It has to be a promotion. It has to be a brand new client. Yeah, those are important. Those are super important. Like, those are huge wins. However, those little wins, they stack up. And I think sometimes for myself, like, I'll take them for granted, and it shouldn't be like that, because the small wins, like I said, they do stack up. They do build consistency, and they keep me going. So looking at those small wins, that is something that I have learned that I need to do better, and that I will continue to do better. And as that time progresses, then I want to get better at, like, not just, for example, something that I have been looking at as a win is, like, 1 view for me right now is like, that's pretty wild. Like, I like that, because if you change things from the point of view, or like the focus. For example, like, let's say you get 20 views. If you think about 20 people being in your room, wherever you are right now, think about having 20 people in your room. Now, let's say your content gets better. Now, let's say you get 100 views. Now, it may not be a lot, or in the eyes of, like, somebody who's a big YouTuber. However, think about 100 people in your room. That's insane. Like that's a lot of people. And then think about once you start getting thousands of views, let's say 1,000 people in your room, like that's a lot of people. And once you flip the switch, and once I did that for me, like for myself, I'm like, man, I got 18 views. That's like 18 people. That's a lot of people. The subscribers are gonna keep growing, and those are the small wins eventually that stack up and lead to the bigger wins. I don't know if that rambling made sense, but it makes sense for me. The next thing that I've learned is imperfect action. Just take imperfect action. Like if you want to do something, like whatever project or whatever business you have in your mind, you like just start taking the steps to build it little by little. Look in the places that you know has the information, or like the people that you can learn from, and start taking the steps and start taking action. Even if it's not perfect, like you don't have to be perfect in your content. You don't have to be perfect in your business. Like just start putting out content. Like if you have a car wash, go out there, like can you get the products from Walmart? Like go to Walmart, pick up the products, pick up a bucket, start with that. Eventually, once you have enough clients, you can buy a little trailer, put a tank on, and then your business is going to keep growing. So if you don't take imperfect action, are you even going to take action at all? Nothing's going to happen, right? So take imperfect action. For me, that has worked. Like again, I keep bringing YouTube because that's what I'm trying to grow right now, and that's the things that I'm passionate about right now. Taking some type of action is better than no action at all. Definitely something that I have learned is take imperfect action. Another thing that I have learned is work-life balance is not always going to be balanced. Like work-life balance, and I guess work-life hustle, or like work-life entrepreneur balance, like sometimes it's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be balanced, and you just have to figure it out. There's some days where, for example, yesterday I worked close to 14 hours. I wasn't planning on working those hours, but like it just happened to be that I needed to put in the work because that's the project that I'm working on, and I needed to be there those hours, and that's okay. Like you just got to balance it out. However, move your schedule, or move the things that you can move to the next day, but actually finish them and not dwell in the fact that you couldn't do them when you said you were going to do, instead just doing the next day. Because work-life balance, especially if you have a part-time business that you're trying to grow, sometimes can be a little bit difficult. Sometimes your side hustle is going to take the backseat, and that's okay. Like as long as you know, like, hey, like I'm being letting it go for a few days, let me get back to what I said I was going to do. Then once you get back to it, then you'll feel good again. But just don't dwell on like the perfect balance, because just like imperfect action, there's not such thing. Like sometimes you just gotta do what you gotta do. And again, like having a full-time job while building your business can be difficult. Like I'm not sitting here and saying, oh, it's so easy, because I don't even have it figured out yet. Like I'm trying every day. Like I'm trying to put in the work. Like I'm trying to figure it out. And sometimes, do I want to, like when the results don't come in as I want them, like do I want to give up? Yeah, sometimes I want to give up. But like if I do give up, then I'm gonna have to start from zero again, and then it's gonna be more difficult to find the motivation to do it. I guess the last two things that I just said go hand in hand, like about not being perfect in your action and not finding or waiting for the perfect work-life balance to get after your business. Because there's never like life is not perfect, right? Like there's things that are gonna come up. Life is just gonna happen, and sometimes you just gotta deal with it, and you just gotta do the best you can. So those are some of the things that I have learned since I started my part-time business and maintaining my full-time job. My last piece of advice would be like, just get after it. Like whatever it is that you want to do, like just get after it and start it. Because the longer you wait, the longer that's going to be sitting on your mind. Like I should be doing this, I should be doing that. And analysis paralysis, like that's a real thing. Like don't overanalyze stuff. Like don't overthink things for your business. Just put in that imperfect action, and then you'll figure it out. I want to keep creating this type of videos, because I feel like in a couple months from now, a couple years from now, I'll be able to look at it and be like, oh, that's where my mindset was. That's what I was thinking at that point. Like, am I still gonna have my full-time job? Is my business gonna be growing? Like those are things that I look forward to. And just creating this content and documenting it, I think it's going to be really good. And maybe I'll be able to speak, or I want to see where my mindset is in a couple of years from now. That is it. I hope you like this little sit down. If you did, leave in the comments below. If you have any tips, anything that you want to share, just leave it in the comments below. Also, let's connect on Instagram. I will put my Instagram down. If you guys want to chat there, send me a DM. Let's go.